What's up, guys? Econ John here. Welcome back to our series on the analytical tools used in anarcho-capitalism. In this video, we're going to talk about the principles of homesteading. Let's go. So, what is homesteading? Homesteading refers to the acquisition of ownerless property by creating or assisting in its creation through labor. It is a device that defines the scope of property rights within a libertarian society. An example of homesteading would be finding an ownerless field and then tilling the land and planting corn. Another example would be domesticating a wild animal or fixing a broken car that was thrown out. By mixing our labor with land or bestowing a unique feature to the ownerless article, one acquires through this process of homesteading. So broadly speaking, homesteading just means you're mixing your labor with something, and that's how you go and acquire it. Some limits to homesteading are limits by right of way, limits to land that is readily accessible, and limits by domain. These limits are imposed primarily as a result of contradictions with the NAP or the strict definition of what homesteading is. So let's talk about this limit by right of way. So on our left hand side, we see that area A is encircled by area B, right? So we have two individuals, right? B can homestead the land all around A and essentially trap them without this principle. This is problematic because he can't really go and get out there to go to the public or go to some sort of common property that is available. What would have to happen is a situation like that on our right hand side where we have area A prime and area B prime, where we have these two individuals, A prime and B prime, which are working within and are abiding by this principle of right of way, where person B can go and encircle person A so much, but he has to go and give them some way out, right? So we have this little line, right, just coming out from area A to the public, and that's what has to be done, right, in order not to go and trap them. So let's talk about homesteading and access. So just a general rule, homesteading can only be done with land that you have access to. If you don't have access to it, you cannot go and mix your labor with land and acquire it. Practically, this means that if you have some land with some oil deep below the ground, that oil, based on this principle, is not yours. So if someone goes in tunnels underground, right, well underground, and it doesn't affect your property at all, and they get to it, that is completely fine, right? It's not a violation of property rights because that oil that is deep beneath your land that you do not have access to is not yours. This would also apply to the airspace above your property. Unless you're actively using it, you cannot own it in a libertarian sense. So, in terms of acquisition of airspace, though, there is a bit of debate among contemporary scholars. So, I'm not going to go and get into too much detail about that. So let's talk about homesteading and the management of externalities. In a libertarian society, one cannot produce in such a way that it impacts others negatively without any sort of recompensation, at least in principle. This means the things that you can do within your property are directly limited by how it affects other people's. On the flip side, one can homestead an area that they pollute. This means that a firm which has a factory nearby which go and gives off fumes, and then a neighborhood is built nearby, or some people go and build their homes nearby, they cannot demand reparations from the factory because it's going and polluting, since the factory was there first and it homesteaded the air that was where they were giving off fumes. However, if the situation was the other way around, right, there was a neighborhood there first and then a factory got built, such demands could be made. So that's our second part in our 5-part series on the analytical tools used in anarcho-capitalism. I'll see you in the next video.